You go to sleep. You go to sleep. It's a new apartment. There's not much there. That's where it is. Let's see which map we're going to be playing on.
That's a reach, but okay.
I don't know why Jess constantly laughs about all of this. It's like Jess is living in her own planet. Well, it's Australia, so understandable.
Jess knows how your mind works. That's the problem.
That is the problem. That's absolutely the problem.
I've known you guys for a while now.
Speaking of reach, look, Consulate gets banned out there by Heretics. Probably a really good move there from them because they just played it. Gamma, they've got Sternap, they've got Stir Babe on hand, and if he wanted to go through that VOD, he damn would have. I trust you. I trust you went through it back and forth. So don't go to a map you just went to when you got Stir Babe on the offense.
I think I prefer Club, to be honest with you. I prefer Consulate over Club here, sorry. For Heretics, really? Consulate has always been one of their best maps. They were regarded as the Spanish beast that would be at every window and doorway as soon as you got in the building. Last week, when they came up against Mako shone in a few rounds when it came down to gun skill. The Heretics simply didn't have. I thought this week, if we saw them go back to a map like Coastline or Consulate, we would get to see them be aggressive, and we would see them stacking up against a team that has lost their two big fraggers in next one and crying, of course. But hey, they want to go to Clubhouse and try and make this a game of strategy. I'm all for it.
All right, expectations. Our lobby is almost ready. When you look at all of this, Des, both of these teams had close games in their first Playday here in EUCL. What are the small differences that we need to look at from that last Playday to really inch out one team or the other forward?
Same thing I mentioned a second ago about Heretics against Mako. There were just no rounds where Heretics really shone in the gun department. It all came down to playing air quotes normal Siege. And if Gamma Gaming, formerly Lowland Lions, formerly Diffuse Kids, have shown teams anything, if you try and play a normal, composed, calm game against them, they are going to run circles around you. And admittedly, yes, there have been a couple of changes, but I think that small essence of them is never going to disappear as long as you've got players like Leonski, Deepek, Avaish on side. That ain't going to disappear anytime soon.
Jess, your take?
Look, I do think this will go in the hands of Gamma Gaming, and I hope, this is the first time they're repping the Gamma Gaming logo, so I do hope for them they can rep it really well and walk away with a win. I think that would be quite a success. I also don't want to see the Spaniards playing simple Siege, as you put it before, every game. We want to see more of them. We want to see that they have the capacity to be a holistic team, and if you want to get into EUL, you have to be that team. Otherwise, you're just going to get smashed into the ground over and over. I said time and time again, Clubhouse is the map to really test teams on both gun skill and tacticalness. So here is their chance to show me that they have what it takes.
A reminder for any fans out there that might not really know the past the Pro League, or you've just tuned in watching in the most recent few months. The last time we had a Spanish team competing in Pro League back then in the old format was G-Bots, and the last time G-Bots really performed was year 2 season 1. Year 2 season 2 was kind of their last huzzah as everything died down, and after that summer, after Gamescom, they all went down. Year 2 season 2, we're talking like mid to late 2017. It's not it's been a while now, so maybe this will be the breath of fresh air that the region needs, and if anything, it'll be a way to show off the skill from the region. That's the whole point of Challenger League. Maybe not the entire team, maybe individual players will make it and have this big career in EU League. Des, Jess, thanks so much for illuminating everything about these two teams and our setup. We'll go though to Clubhouse. Our game is ready, and let's toss it over to our casters. Gamma Gaming versus Heretics, Benelux versus Spain.
And that is two regions that I am deeply involved with, both with Spain and Benelux. But sorry for Spain, I have to go for Benelux tonight.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
I like how you just put the bias out there. I like how you...
I have to. I'm known as the biased caster. So
okay, but you don't. I mean, you don't have to.
I mean,
you have done though, and I get it. You you love your Benelux boys.
Your game was easy with the UK versus UK.
Well, Leonski's already in chat, calling out the complaints about Oregon. That's true.
Oh my god, I'm so annoyed about Avaish.
Easy is agreeing. Why are you annoyed about Avaish?
Look at his name. Everything is caps. And Deepek as well. Why? Oh no way that they all did this. They all did. Okay, except for Panic.
Apart from Panic. Everyone else is shouting apart from Panic. Panic just shows up like Panics.
Yeah, he's just the calm guy,
Yeah, he's just calm. He's relaxed. He's having a good time. Maybe it's part of the mind games. Maybe it's something that Sternap has laid into them. So you got to be loud, you got to be bold.
I mean, last time they went to Clubhouse, they lost the EUL spot.
That's true. They probably...
And then they ran it back for the second try.
Yeah.
And lost that one too.
they really ran it back.
They really ran it back. That was their motto: run it back. They did it against Penta as well. Then they managed to actually pull out a draw instead of a loss.
Well, that's progress. So maybe this is the win. Maybe it's a strategic rebuilding, a restructuring, a resurfacing of a team that might be able to get it this time.
To surprise many, even though they were on the top of the leaderboard after week 1 of their group, as they managed to be the only one to come home with a win. And that means that today they can expand on that lead, as if they manage to pick up a second one, they, well, depending of course on how the next game will go, because the top 4 will go to the actual playoffs. If they manage to get 2 or 3 wins, I believe you're already secured for the actual playoffs.
Yes. Yeah, I believe it's... I mean, they would be with all the draws that have otherwise occurred, but obviously you've also got to look at how the rest of this all plays out. The thing about this group, and the thing about the team that they're up against, Heretics, is it's quite tight in terms of skill. And a lot of it, when we had these teams feed and filter through from the regionals and from the different nationals, there were some tier 1 teams that were in and amongst the mix. There were some kind of tier 1 presences that slightly threw things awry for some rosters. Not the case for the Spaniards. Heretics obviously took the total and title, and then the team that they beat at the very, very end, and the kind of consistent second, Movistar, almost were here as well. Almost took Cavana recently. So it's a very tough, tight region.
It is. It is a very competitive region. They just did not have that much luck yet. If I believe correctly, we just, like, after G-Bots, we've had a team in Challenger League Season 7, which was before the UK and Benelux cast was coming on. And thus not really that well documented, but they were definitely there. However, weren't able to make their way back in, and so it is up to Heretics to make sure that they will be the new Spanish success story. At least get yourselves into those playoffs. Make sure that you will be moving on from there on, as they are a very competitive region. There is also a lot of money involved in the region, and it will be so fitting for it to all pay off.
Well, as they start their attempt at collapsing in against this top floor, there's generally a fairly controlled hold here. They want to get all of the intel that Gamma is going to offer towards the Heretics, but Heretics, they're happy to, again, find their angles slow and steady. First of all, Astro seems to be the one that they want to shut down, one of the recent additions, who is otherwise freewheeling beneath. Move in, manipulate, and play space as you can do on Club. It's a lot of standard steady. You know how you want to play it and you know how you want to push it. The response here from Gamma, though, is, well, we're going to push back by the looks of it, with Deepak waiting and still awaiting the chance to run out.
And we'll be potentially opening up that window just to make them a little bit scared of that C4, as Leonski now ripped it. And you see Kuribo just holding, waiting for that C4 to potentially come out, but it's just going to be waiting, just going to use it as a bit of a bait to stall out some time. In the meantime, the gun is already back out for Leon. Oh, actually, still the C4, there we have it! It's not going to be able to blow up Kuribo, and that means he's not going to be allowed to open up further. As the utility now is officially gone, the wall will be opened up, and that means that they will have to deal with that for the remainder of this round. But Gamma will be falling back into secondary positions.
Bought them a precious 10 seconds, but not much more than that. And now Heretics, as I said before, they were slow and steady and happy to play their pace, and their pace is coming through so far. But with Panics creeping a little bit closer and closer to a potential firefight here against Duke, and Deepak and Astro still beneath you, have the construction hatch open too, so they can try and cause some trouble and some dilemmas from there. If they want to breach this, that's why the Habana pellets are darting on such a close, tight corner. It's still an issue, and it still means that, well, you can see Heretics, they're not comfortable around that hatch, around that play space, and they still have to try and get a little bit more solidity, because so far, Gamma Gaming, they're blending into the environment.
There's also these two mute jammers, which will stop any of those Excaros to go off as Astro gets the first kill, and that's exactly what I meant. They need to go below into stock to actually try and challenge that. And as he manages to rotate himself into the actual garage, opens up himself into a new site as well, a new line of sight he could use. to try and deny the opening that is supposedly to come from below as Astro picks up yet another kill. And so it's a 2-on-5 situation. 1-on-5 and end it all right there. It's a Viking Deepic with the last two. A flawless round from Gamma to start things off with. And that is a flying start for their new org, if there could have ever been one.
Yeah, I assume they're watching with kind of the hope of, well, let's get off to the great start. They ended their previous tenure with the Lowland Lions in good stead, and they want to make sure, as you said, that they lock off this group, the team with the 2 wins in what is otherwise a pretty frantic battle. Those points are going to be so precious towards the end of this and in the build-up towards obviously butting heads with their opponents and seeing if they can try and find their way up to Tier 1. I mean, they had a go recently, and, well, they want to make sure that the next time it doesn't turn into the run it back.
Yeah, they really had to win those. We're gonna make that make that comment there.
I was gonna say it and then I didn't, and then you did.
This will be a quote that will be remembered
Forever.
as long as this lineup consists.
Forever.
Like exists. It's probably even forever in the Siege community. Yeah, like they got so cocky. It definitely came back to them. But hey, that's a lesson as well. Don't become so cocky until the game is over. Don't get cocky until after the game, you know? That's when the trash talk can happen. Because if you do it during the game, it will be coming back to you. Because, karma.
It will haunt you. I mean, anything you say in old chat, you have to say it with the confidence and the knowledge that it can and will probably be used against you. Even if you're successful, it's probably going to get used against you. Even if you say it, and then 3 or 4 months later down the line, you know whatever you type into all chat is going to be screenshot and responded onto your timeline. So
I think we have to start reading every single player the Miranda rights. You know, everything you say can and will be used against you.
Yeah. It's like, you just got to be aware. Be aware, be prepared. And I think the guys from Gamma, they're happy to dance with the devil and see what comes out of it. Now, can we get a bit more pace from Heretics? They kind of left a lot up to droning and slow and steady, and, well, without any real pressure against Gamma, all it took was them to hold their own, hold their initial push, and just kind of rebuff and push back the Heretics before they could even begin to try and close down bodies. Here, they seem to be going for an aggressive hot drone approach. The Spanish are trying to dig their way through into the bodies, but they're not going to be handed them that easily. Gamma just pull themselves back down into the basement. It's 2-minute mark, so it's still very good time by the attackers. But without the confirmation, without the kill, well, we saw good time management at the start of the last round, and look where it led.
I was really thinking of Vich might have been going for a bit of a C4 toss out of the oil pit. He was hiding there for quite a bit, but right now, playing here in basement. Not sure if he has the TCSG available, otherwise he might be able to go for a bit of a C4 toss onto the main stairs. No, just has the normal AUG. So let's hope for him someone open that one up as, well, Kuribo opens up that motorcycle hatch. It has been opened up. There we have it. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Easy.
Easy. On the board, on the observing, also another person from the Benelux region. Got a lot of you right now.
He also used to be their ex-analyst on Gamma.
Oh, really?
Yeah, actually was. Back in the name of Trust Gaming.
Once, oh, okay. Well, now you're shilling, and now Gribo's dead. Panics, gets some response down inside. Dirt, very aggressive play there. Drop the diffuser outside, but you think of the trade there. Obviously, you've got rid of the Maverick. You've got rid of 2 frag grenades, which for a kitchen hatch push are pretty important, and we've already seen a lot already opened by them, including Dirt. So you kind of also lost 2 canisters. Also important for holding off these quick pushes and these quick drops and bits of momentum. A bold swing, a bold attempt, punished time and time again. Leonsky.
He's cursed with the dirt tunnel. You don't want him in there. That is not working out well for you. As again, he will be taken out. Right now, a 3 and 4 situation. Heretics have that man advantage. They have 18 seconds. They need to start moving. They have the 2-man advantage right now as they start pushing through. Astro looking to go for a bit of a flank as the plant's coming down deep and safely. Astro, what can you do from here? The plant will go down. 45 seconds will be on the clock. Are you going to be able to find all 4? No, not a single one. Heretics are going to be able to pick up round number 2. And after that flawless one we just had from Gamma, this was a perfect response from the Spaniards.
And it was built upon the death of the smoke. The smoke swung out and tried to get a kill, but you've got to realize how important that operator is in those situations. You can just stem that entire dirt push. That is your role, that is your job. You went for something bold. That is, I guess, a word that is probably painted above the screens of every single player for Gamma Gaming, and unfortunately it led to not a great result. However, they do often adapt, change, and overcome. This time they're just going to, well, head upstairs, see if they can take it in gym bedroom instead, and pick off to a Valk from a clash.
All right.
Okay.
Interesting choice. We do see the Zofia coming out, so they clearly want to be countering it off. Now not having to deal with it, as Gamma continues their rotation. To look at the openings here, hatch opened up, of course, pretty usual. Some ankle holes as well, just to deny the plan to come through. That's why you often see them run either behind the weights or behind that one reinforced walls. That is the bit of safe haven you have if you want to be going for a plant in the gym. There's not much else that you can go.
So Stern up tweeted.
Yeah, I saw that.
Coach Gamma, yeah, an icon in the Siege community. My team make fun of me during the game in comms, and I literally can't defend myself because I'm not allowed to talk. We could also make fun of him here.
And he wouldn't be allowed to talk.
And he cannot talk, and he cannot rebuff it. Just putting that out there.
Should we though?
Just putting that out there.
Because he's playing with at least 3 people I know will be abusing this up to the utmost opportunity that he has to listen to. As of course he is the coach, he will be able to listen.
Yeah. Listen, but
Should
no
we
talking.
add to that? Should we add to that?
The problems caused for Sternum? I don't know. Because the thing is, he might not even be watching this with our audio, but he will review the VOD.
That is true. We could make a cheeky little joke.
We'll work on it. For now, they're going to try and work on their way through Jacuzzi. They're trying to crack open a pretty precious wall, and so far, this was something that Dez and Jess talked about on the desk, was the kind of standard method of siege play Heretics like to run. It's by no means a bad thing. It's something where if you can nail the basics and the defaults, they're that for a reason, because they are good, they're consistent, they're something you can build upon, and they're ways teams found as a great average to be successful. And well, there's no map that stuff usually works better on than club, and I guess what we're seeing them is so far being a bit pace for pace. They were handed dirt and they went full kind of shablam into it, so that was a little bit above the kind of level, and I'm curious to see if Gamma's occasionally aggressive defense, I guess it can be so successful, but in that time also very unsuccessful against those kind of default plays.
Look at that, Cam. They are well aware of where he is, and that means the push will be coming through as well. There we have it, the deep pickup on Deepak. The early entry of Barras, as they spotted him out and they decided to just double down on it. Open up that wall, jump through with 2 people. We are definitely getting that kill. The only question is, however, where were these Valkyrie cams placed, as that was exactly what Deepak was watching. Saki going really aggressive up these stairs right here. Juka will be able to pick up the kill onto a Vite as well. That is a good start, a good follow-up. And as right now, this main stairs controller is also there as C4 rains out. Penix stopping Sake from moving through. As Astro not receiving any pressure here whatsoever. He's going to be able to decide whether or not he rotates or starts contesting highway.
Well, the canisters pop out around the door and stop people getting immediately in, but in a 4 versus 3 and 20 seconds left, well, you got to see if you can force a little bit more out of here, and going for these last second rotations over the top to try and apply a pinch, well, it's not going to be in anyone's favor. There's a close swing and a close attempt at the body just on the other side, but look at all those bodies that suddenly fell over and over, and every shoulder didn't quite confirm it on the hop-in through the window. And well, that's 2 in a row for Heretics.
Going to be able to take the lead here in this matchup, as they right now are, of course, on that attack. The side that is not really favored on the map like Clubhouse. So any extra round they get from here on forward can be considered a big win, can be considered a big profit, as there is at least 3 more rounds that need to be played, and well, Gamma are slowly trailing. They need to step it up here. They need to make sure they get at least 3 rounds in. Otherwise, their half on the attack is not going to be ending well.
Back to the site where things were successful, and what you kind of wanted was pressure underneath. And I guess it's down to see if Heretics have learnt that lesson. And I guess it's something that the analysts were probably looking at as well, because if they talked about the defaults and they talked about how this team like to run that, Heretics, adaptation is one of those strong suits that some teams thrive in. Some teams develop and demonstrate and demand more from their opponents because of their adaptations. Here, I guess, is where we start to see what Heretics have learned. They're on the back of 2 rounds, and it was pace, it was quick, it was a collapse, it was a close down. One because of opportunity, the second because, well, it was their only opportunity. Can they adapt themselves for this approach and the push on the top floor, and can they try and get a handle on those bodies beneath?
That is the question, and the last round was a good example of that, using that drone to find out where Deepak was located. As they make good use of that, they instantly shut him down as Astro now rotating into the bedroom. Will possibly receive some pressure as Barrows opens up on the hatch, but decides to take a different avenue. Open up onto the CCTV window most likely. Put some extra pressure on whoever might be tricking. If they will be tricking, that is the question.
Looking out for anyone on the roam underneath as they flick and flitter through every single drone possible, trying to get that Ash in and aggro. But they haven't quite got the catch on Astro, who has lived up to his name and headed up to the stars, if the stars are close to gym and bedroom, waiting for anyone to try and head up this main stair set and see if they can apply some pressure. Yes, you can wait here and hold it for as long as you want, but Astro has options for rotation, Astro has options to place, there's an open hatch, and there's a Vaish watching for the movement.
And that will give a lot of opportunity to Astro, but you got to keep in mind there is drones in place. Heretics have some really good flank drones that they keep on using, and well, Deepak was on the receiving end of that last time around, and Illusionists right now will be feeling safe knowing that they are in location, and someone will most likely be keeping an eye out every now and then. Just scrolling through as an opening has been made using the X-Kairos rather than the blowtorch of the Maverick, which was their preferred method the last time around.
Well, over a minute on, and Heretics, they have themselves an entrance, and they've been able to force the players of Gamma further back. And look at this, they're underneath. They have some verticality too. It's just making something of it now. They have to try and capitalize and collapse whilst they have a little bit of the angles. Long holds here and concerned about a strip run out, but, well, here comes the push, here comes the pressure. And there goes Panics. No, just escapes, is able to find a little bit of a way out and somehow put bullets down and body back down. Leonsky finds one too, and the pressure starts to swing a little bit further away, but Hibana is there to bring some balance back into the force of Heretics, and with shoulders clipped by bullets as they try and dip their way closer along these rafters, and Kuribo is trying to just get himself in with the diffuser too, but 20 seconds and tight holes mean it's not going to be an easy fit for this puzzle piece of square plant.
Drones coming out to try and get some extra information. Grenade was tossed in but failed to get the evil eye, and that means Flashbangs now will have to do the trick as Kuribo wants to go for an actual plan, but with 5 seconds left and his teammates taken out, he's all alone right now. He's not going to be able to get the kill. Actually was able to get that kill, but instantly followed up, and Gamma able to win their second round now as well. They cannot afford to lose many more. They need to step it up right now as they're going back downstairs, the site they lost when they lost third control. And that shows that they will have to bring something to try and deny that. Now, last time they opened it up with a simple Maverick, so you can assume they will do the exact same thing again. But what do you bring against the Maverick? A Clash could work, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it was
slowed down.
It was 6 picked
okay.
again though. It was taken out again. They removed it, got rid of it. Don't want it here. And you think, I guess, when you're looking at Gamma and you're looking at how this went wrong again, you cannot understate how important that loss of smoke could have been. And I guess, well, let's see if they try and keep him alive a little bit longer.
It used to be Leonsky always playing in that dirt tunnel with the smoke. You will remember the memes.
Yeah, well,
I think he never won a gunfight in there.
he's retired, hasn't he?
Well, yeah, now Panix is playing with the smoke, and
Yeah,
last
yeah.
time he was the first one to fall in Dirt Tunnel, but Leonski wasn't there to back him up with the actual, with the Maestro. But he fell quite like right immediately after as well, so...
In a weird way, it's strange that Gamma can't get a lockdown on Dirt, because Sternab's so good at getting into tries and getting dirt on others.
Ooh, there it is. There is the joke that we wanted to make.
There's a little
the
bit of a
bully,
joke.
rather.
A little bit of bullying. Cat jams for Sternab.
Please. Exclamation mark jam. You get the spam.
Well, talking of spam, Mastro is, well, originally actually, he went to try and spam that front door with bullets just to see if he could catch anyone on the retreat, but there's no need, no point, and nobody there. Instead, they're digging themselves up above oil. Quick pace here for them to get inside, and look at this. Heretics are trying to lead with a lot of aggression. Again, I guess it's something that I looked about and talked about with them before, was they seem to be a bit slow and steady at getting control and then capitalizing on it. It went well the times they've done it. Here, they're playing a quick game against Gamma. They're stepping up and stepping into a firefight that if, I guess they don't, with the players they're up against, it could very quickly start to slip through their fingers. You have to get aggro against Gamma. You have to try and match that Benelux movement, that Benelux aggression with your own. And, well, so far, for me, this is a great pace.
Really managed to take out 2 of the Valkyrie cams as well. Might mean that Gamma will redirect about, you know, whether or not they will actually go for the Valkyrie pick or choose to go for something different. As so far hasn't been too impactful. Every single time the camps have been taken out quickly. As right now the hatches are being opened up as well. That is going to be some quick pressure to potentially be coming down. No openings up this time to try and toss a C4 over the edge towards the main stairs. And that will give a bit of freedom towards the players of Heretics to just descend the stairs and put some double pressure together with the motorcycle hatch. And that's exactly what Barrows wants to do.
More drones, more time, slow and steady, and they're still looking for anybody that they can put bullets into. But look at this, a very different story that's happened on Dirt. This time, last time, we had already seen the body dropped, and they're not playing that game. Whether Heretics just decided and opted to not apply the close pressure there, either way, with Kitchen Hatch still going, they've got to force their way in a different manner, and so far, it's off to a good start. Valk's off the board, and they're actually just going to head back up main stairs, reevaluate and redetermine where they want to apply that secondary bit of pressure. Kuribo is inside. Burning down Church Wall has the ability and the angle to steady his way through this, but they'll hear this, they'll see this, and they'll probably respond to this quickly. There it is, though, through the line, Barros.
Able to pick up that kill as well. As I really like to say that Heretics to get use of that shield that was in the hallway just to pick up Deepak. But they have to worry about the time. There's only 15 seconds left and Panix loses himself in the middle of the hallway there somehow. Leonski, however, will be able to pick up a double kill. The plant will go down. And it's a 1-on-2 situation now. He has the Alda to play with. Will be able to pick up yet another kill, but will not last for much longer than that. As Kuribo, right after the plant, will be able to reply. A bit spooked there by a bit of paper flying around. Thought it might have been a C4. But they win the round, and they are in the lead again, and that means there's only 1 round left on this half. 1 round left for Heretics to try and close it out right here, right now, by putting up a 4-2 on the board. Or Gamma to try and fight back and at least salvage something out of this match.
Heretics so far have been very, very good. Everything seems quite quick and watertight. As I've said before, it seems like they have done their homework. And Gamma, in the meantime, for what they're capable of and what we know that they can do, they haven't really stepped in against Heretics as much as they potentially could have. Yes, okay, it's always the argument of sometimes, you know, players will hit their ones better on the day, and those are things that you can't really prep for. It's just, that's the day, that's how things go, and that's the tough bit of performing. But at the same time, Gamma, they're being caught out in these situations. There seems a little bit of a separation between each of the 5 heads, whereas Heretics seems to be 5 heads of a Hydra, as they pivot and spiral around each other and seem to know where the others want to go to cause what potential end.
Alright. 1 more round on the defensive for Gamma, 1 more on the attack for Heretics. There is no draws. They'll have to make this one count, either of these teams. Mosley coming out right now to try and, well, hack these drones, because the information on the parts of the Spaniards has been, well, superb. They know exactly where those players are the entire time. They managed to take down the cams of DPEC quickly as well. And it just makes it really hard for these Dutchmen. Well, not Dutchmen really, because it's two Dutchies, a Belgian player, and Swiss and an Englishman.
You can, I mean,
mixed nationality.
Yeah. It's a region, Benelux.
It's a region.
Oh,
that's
well,
unfortunate as well.
Yeah, Vaish's been taken out of the region and put firmly into cams as he gets dropped, trying something bold. I was going to say that Mozzie was a great pick as well, because the drones have been consistent. That's one of the things that I guess has played well into the kind of 500 push of Heretics, is their information. They've seemed to have a consistent balance and idea. If it's broken here by DPEC above, who's kind of playing a game and giving something away and tries to deliver a parcel, but unfortunately the chimney was a little bit too tight. Instead just decides to gun down. Look at the health of Habana. She has a lot of work left ahead of her, and to be taken out of the equation now would mean this would be a very tough push. Going for Sledge 2. DPEC wants all of the aggression and wants every single member of Heretics to try and come upstairs and say, come and try and get me.
As long as he stays alive, he'll be putting down some pressure now, as they know one of the players is above. Of course, he's rotating out. The question is, do they have drones available to try and read this current situation? As he's going all the way around, a lot of damage done onto Sake, a little bit onto Barras. As Curie now opens up the hatch, it's a bit dangerous to stand on top of it, I would say. So you might want to get off of it at this moment in time. There we have it, indeed. Just continue its work to try and open up for a potential kitchen plant. And there's little to no one there to actually try and counter it off on the likes of Gamma. Just Leonski, who could be peeking out. DPEC is seeming to be waiting for a flank, but then decides to drop down. Guess the plant might be coming in soon. 50 seconds, and this is the most time Heretics have had to try and go for an execute. They've opened up everything they need. All they just need to do now is get the control.
Look at all these bodies stacked over this hatch, and look at the drones still whirring and working away. The man advantage is going to be very vital, but you cannot fault Heretics' play in terms of team setup and trade so far. It's definitely been the strong suit, and for me, been the reason they've been able to take their rounds so consistently, unfortunately. It's Gamma. When Gamma's in their element and they're able to live up to the chameleonic nature of their play and just meld into their audience and into their background, they can start to pick bodies apart, like we see there on the rotation of pipes. The smoke canister comes down, as does a player of Heretics who's fed into two more. Duke is able to pull one back against DPEC, but Leonski's shutting down the main corridor, and one more.
One more round, they will pick up on the likes of Gamma, and that means we have ourselves an even split. I believe Des said during the first game, it isn't a game of EUCL if we aren't ending up in a 3-3 situation at some point. And, well, that is where we are right now. 3-3. Oh, I almost butchered that one. As we are going to Church Arsenal for the first side of Heretics, where they will try and hold off Gamma their attacks. And their attacks is basically what impressed me most going into Cafe last week. Because they could, like, if it all goes well, they look so synchronized and so well organized that it's really hard to try and counter that.
Oh, 100%. I think that's the thing as well with my curiosities here on their defense, is their attacks are great at gathering information and reading from it and playing against that. In a way, they have a different method of that now. And if their droning game was what was such a big part of their attacks, I'm curious to see if that gets broken on their defense, if those cameras get pulled apart by Gamma on the break-in and they start to lose those eyes in the sky and they lose sight on Gamma. Could Gamma make something of it? Could they start to thrive in the potential chaos of the unknown that they can play so well? How effective will blinding Heretics be? Well, I guess without an IQ, you got to trust you're pre-placed, and at least they know that one's in strip.
Illusionist tossing out another cam here. Not quite sure what that one will do. Might give away his spawn position, but I think that's about it, considering you're downstairs.
Maybe dirt was what I was thinking.
Does that give dirt? Maybe it does.
I was trying to think of the angle.
Yeah, it does. It does to some extent.
Yeah, like a little bit of dirt.
You'll be able to see the side of dirt.
Yeah.
Probably not the front.
Oh, there we go. How does Easy do this?
Just knows when to swap to the Valkyrie player that might actually be in the cam, you know? It's like the sixth sense these observer people have.
Oh, man. Well, look at the sixth sense that's here, and apparently none of it is to try and land bullets into each other. Both of them escaped that firefight without any damage, and the C4 too, but it does open a sight line. In the meantime, Panics has dropped someone on the opposite side. Look at the pressure instantly coming via strip. They've seen that Moto hatch is open, and they want to capitalize upon that sooner rather than later. There is always the concern of the bodies above, but Panics has already taken care of the first with a bit of revenge there from Barros as Leonski falls. Mavericks off the board, hard destruction gone, always a big problem on a map like this, but you still have Habana, you still have some possibilities, and you're still playing against this tall defense that teams like to do, which means you have a little bit of a leeway in that there's already a hatch open, and that hatch is soft too.
That is a really questionable thing here, that hatch is left soft, as that means they're going to be able to freely open that one up, put some pressure down into blue, together with the blue staircase. The one thing they might be worrying with is actually opening up into kitchen, considering there is some impacts available on the likes of Heretics. And thus, we might see a pinch coming now from Oil Pit, blue stairs, and then also, of course, the main stairs and, well, motorcycle drop. There's not many opportunities, many other opportunities they have. This opening right here we will see right now is no way you can impact trade both of them, and they will have to choose. There we go, first set will be enabled, second set will still create a little bit of an ankle hole, and that's maybe exactly what they wanted here. Flashbangs now coming in as well from deep back. As with 35 seconds left on the clock, they surely need to be dropping soon. They don't have the openings to be walking directly onto the side, so that means they need to clear out blue first.
I thought I saw a frag grenade loose there, but apparently I'm just losing it as they still find themselves flashing in and pushing away down as Astro gets dropped on the opposite side. Avaish finds one back as Illusion goes, and there's a second, and there's unfortunately not a third. Shut down, though, through the ankle hold. There's the third, and there is the fourth for Gamma Gaming.
Here we have it. Even though they don't have the openings they need, and even though they lost someone quite early on, they were able to still use the, well, holes and angles they've created themselves to win in that round. And that puts them back in the lead in a very contested match so far. CCTV cache now, next site we will go to, as we are getting closer and closer towards that end goal. There's only 5 rounds potentially left to be played. If that would be the case, we would have a 7-5 victory on either side, or a 6-6. Heretics need to start winning that defensive rounds as well.
Start pulling stuff together, but to be honest, when we hit ourselves on this situation of being in this 3-3 at the half, well, that's kind of familiar. Really, it's one of those kind of setups and scenes where, hey, if you're kind of using the idea of this is a tightly fought race and a tightly run race in this group especially, this is a lot of different regions. It's the highest of a lot of different regions. If I'm going to talk about the fact that obviously when you look at the history of the Tier 1 teams being in these regional leagues and not having a presence, both these teams, to be honest, they kind of came through without a huge threat and a huge dominating handful of forces that you had in the UK League and the French League and GSA. These two was, you know, a true fight at bitter end.
It was a true fight. Just trying to find out anything particular now on the setup that Heretics is bringing. See some Valkyrie camps being tossed out, see a bit of the garage being reinforced. On the other side though, meaning they still can relatively easily enter by just putting up the sledgehammer to the task and then follow up with some of these grenades. And while talking about quick work, Leonski here trying to make some quick work happen with the actual blowtorch, was waiting for some cover, for some support right now, so he can actually go and start opening up the bottom line. So first Panics is coming in to do some home wrecking. As soon as that is done, the bottom line will be drawn.
Wow. Leonski, steady pressure here, and there's nobody to immediately counter you off. But look at the stacked up double hold at the top of red. They're watching either side and either angle, and they want to gun anyone that gets in. But they have the ability to rotate quickly as well. It looks like Illusion is the one that's playing aggressive, but there's a run out from Strip, probably. As Sake is able to get one, Leonski gets a battle back. I don't know, where was the run out from to get that kill?
It was Strip indeed. It was Strip indeed.
Okay,
He's
yeah,
still sitting here
there,
and
still there.
He's going to go for another run out, which is really adventurous.
It's bold.
It's bold. But hey, fortune favors the bold, right? It's, you know, at some point you will be able to pick up a kill. Or you might get killed yourself. It's either one of those two. There's no in-between in that situation. But right now, the garage control is enhanced at Gamma Gaming, and Juka is looking to retake it together with Saka, it looks like, as both of them are now located around it. Still have that C4 available, so just a plain plant on default is not going to be working out. And then the openings are coming, and Astro able to start things up, able to pick up one and pick up two. Huge double kill coming down, and that is going to be opening things up. Suddenly you can go and push for a plant right now, as the plant is going to be coming through indeed. Is there a C4 available? It looks like it, as Illusionist is looking to try and make it over. We'll be able to pick up one kill, but the C4 needs to come. There is the plant. The diffuser is going down, and suddenly it's a 2-on-2 situation now. The retake needs to happen. The Aldo will be reloaded. The question is, where are Astro and where is Panix? As grenades are being tossed out on either side. Both of them are in the garage trying to hold on. It is up to Illusionist to try and go for a little bit of a flank here as well. That's exactly what Penix does. Moves into the side, gets one kill. And Astro finishes it off with yet another one as well. And that means Gamma right now 5-on-3 up. As a rehost got called, I believe, earlier on due to a sound bug. Might be the perfect moment to quickly reset yourselves mentally. Talk about what went wrong and get back into it afterwards again.
I believe they're just waiting on the call from the admins, so there it is. There it is. There we go, and we'll be back to the cameras. Back to a moment of just kind of reevaluating how everything is going for these two teams, and I guess, you know, for the first time we're seeing someone with a 2-round buffer, a 2-round setup, a 2-round lead, and it's coming on an attack-favored club so far.
Yeah, right. It's suddenly looking a bit attack favored. We saw Heretics being able to pull out time and time again, and eventually it was the you know, the 3-3 equalizer coming out from Gamma. But right now they got 2 in a row. Isn't it actually 3 in a row?
It's 3 in a row.
Because they managed to get the last one as well. So they're starting to walk away. But rehost coming in, and that might change things up. Of course, not really happy to play without sound, so I totally get that one. But this might be what they need mentally. Just a quick reset, talk about what you're going to be doing next, because clearly what is going on right now doesn't work, and get back into the server and try and execute that.
I think that's it as well, is when you're looking at this moment for Heretics, again, I guess one of the questions that I had for them, or watching them on their defenses, was how will this kind of aggressive and well-played intel game work when they're the ones that are under the pressure? Because sure, you're in a situation, if you're a setup team, that you've got time to set up. You've got time to kind of build your defenses and have your opponents try and apply the pressure onto it. But when you start to take on water, rather than be the one putting holes in the opponent's boats, it's a very different set of reactionary skills you've got to have, and it can become very hectic very quickly, because it's always the balance of, well, this is happening, but is this more important? Is the role that I'm currently holding, yada yada, the trades? Unfortunately, at this moment in time, it seems like they just can't quite work out which holes to plug to be able to stop them taking on Gamma Gaming water.
And I was looking at the garage setup, right? I said 2 ADSs there, the player was there safely. And I was like, it's going to be really hard to try and take out the player on rafters, until they moved a little bit too much over towards the actual CCTV. Leonski was able to get an angle on him through the rotation they created themselves and picked up the kill. And that is kind of the thing. You need to know when that wall opens up. You need to know that you're exposed to that angle at that moment in time. And then you're not visiting it anymore. You're not peeking it, you're not going in it. You need to keep rafters control, because as soon as you lose that, and as soon as that plateau control is also there for the attackers, that round can almost guarantee is lost.
In terms of Gamma Gaming, them stepping up over the second half is definitely something where they can, well, I guess, maybe get a better grip and a better idea of, okay, we have success. We have something. We've got 3 rounds in a row now, which otherwise in a back and forth battle with Heretics, they're looking at the potential of taking a couple more and being on that precious 3 points. More than enough to kind of secure themselves against what is a consistent brawl and just keep a bit of a distance of that kind of like comedy fight that seems to be going on where everybody is throwing punches at absolutely everybody. We'll be back into the game just now as we find ourselves, with the 2-round buffer.
That 2-round buffer can be so important as we are going to Church Arsenal yet again. Heretics choosing to go back where it went wrong in round number 7 to see if they can improve on their setup, improve on their playstyle, and maybe shut them down this time around.
The 6th pick to the Vigil there from the hands of Heretics. And I guess for me, this is them hopefully going into the ability to play a bit aggro against the back of Gamma. Play something unexpected against a team that is otherwise, well, quite hard to expect. They can push and be aggro so quick, so hard, and so fast. And in this situation, you're looking at the potential of, okay, well, if we can do what we were doing on our attacks, where we can try and catch them a little bit off guard and catch them on a sideline, maybe we can try and find some of the balance that we had on our attacks.
That is what they need to find. That balance. And they need to balance things out here on the likes of Heretics for sure, because 3-5 tips the scales in the favor of Gamma. And they're looking, and they have to, bring it back for the Spanish community's sake. Of course, not looking to go for another draw, as that will not be really advantageous, but it's better than a loss. And, well, there's still the opportunity for a win, but as soon as that 6 will be tapped on by Gamma, you better be fighting for that draw, because you want to get that point in. Not only do you keep Gamma back from becoming out of reach, but you also be able to keep up with your competition yourself a little bit.
Popping bullets and peppering all the way through. And, well, if I was going to say Vigil was surprised, the surprise is kind of ruined. Popped up like a disappointing jack in the box and put back in the box and kind of put in the bin as they get removed very early on from this equation. And, you know, when you're playing this tall roam, you're playing this tall game, you're playing all of these potential rotation angles, you're just kind of giving them to Gamma Gaming in that situation.
You know exactly where Illusionist is. That you see that pre-fire coming through is just short of the actual head of the Valkyrie, as they weren't able to quite hit it yet. But look at the tall roam still. One player above on the main stairs is just going to be tossing in a C4. Now the pull entry is here, but he's not going to be able to land that kill onto Deepak, and that is going to be turning the guns towards his side. Illusionist able to pick up one, and Kuribo able to get one as well. Actually, 2. As the Maestro coming in to try and save the day, and suddenly it's all up to Leonski now. He will be dropping down onto the side. Just reckons this is his best chance on actual success and will be able to take the site control. But Barrows was still in blue. Will be shutting him down, and that means Heretics now got themselves that round, that 1 round to try and swing the momentum. The question is, can they keep this up?
Okay, we're back to within 1 round. Back to within a tiny bit of distance and difference, and, well, I guess let's see if they can keep themselves pressured and keep themselves alive. As you said, they've got 1, they've got it under their belt, and they've got a bit of a groove on. Now it's just a bit of growth. Now it's just, doubling down on this situation, especially as they managed to pull it off even without the Vigil firing on the fronts that he could have. Gym Bedroom is where they're going to opt for instead of CC, and I guess they're playing with the situation of, well, if we take this successfully, then we have CC as a place to go to if we want to push ourselves to that map point. We have this idea, and then hopefully at that point we'll be cycling back down to the basement. Either way, we've got to play this if we want to take this map, so let's do it now, get it done, and get ourselves the hope at getting the win.
Choosing to not go CC might be a bit weird in some people their minds, but the truth here is these two sites are quite similar to some extent, bathroom and gym and CC. The big difference here is, however, that the attackers often choose to be going through CCTV to try and get that pushed through, and that allows you to put a lot of utility in this place just to make sure that their approach, that their journey through CCTV cache to construction to the actual bedroom, it's going to be ever so hard and ever so, well, daunting to go through.
They're almost alive as long as they were last round at. And they made it. Seke has survived longer than they did in the previous round, and they look like they're going to rotate around and see if they can apply some pressure from Strip. The run-out has potential here. We've already seen them strike on it before, but also I guess we'll see if, you know, maybe they're going to fall victim to it, because they went for 2 run-outs last time, and there wasn't the response from Gamma. They didn't really need to. They decided, well, we'll just take site instead. We've realized and read that somebody's further away, and well, is this going to be the same success story we had before, or is it just going to be a hit and another miss? The cam goes out first. They're going to get the beat and the bead and the information that they might be able to utilize, and nobody's home as of yet.
Saka's still looking hungry on those run-outs there, and as that cam is still out there, we might see a late rotate coming back out again for him to try and explore a potential run-out to try and potentially get that kill. And I'm sure that he will be coming back at some point. As right now, the default behind the server stack will be opened up as well. Illusionist and Juka will be getting some visitors soon. As right now, these flashbangs are about to come in. A bit of a tag into Astro, but not enough to actually get the kill. The shield will be taken down, but so will Deepak. That is the favor here for Heretics this round. Avich now goes down as well. It's up to Astro to try and recover what went wrong in this round so far. He's going to be able to spot out the head. Will be able to find 1 kill. Knows that there's a second one in the actual cash room. Just going to be waiting patiently, trying to get a drone in, maybe from a teammate, maybe some extra information. As pings are coming down from the Spaniard, telling them to cover off this door, please. I don't want to die from this, as that grenade will be dealing almost no damage. As C4 and Kuribo will be able to get some kills in. And it's only up to Astro now. It looks like we are going to that 5-5 score line. We are going to the equal lining so far. And let's see who will be the first one to reach 6 after this one.
Sprayed through the money, and they found gold. Heretics pulled it back to a 5-5, and, well, could another draw loom? In a region and a grouping that is seemingly plagued by them, neither team wants to give the other the give, I guess, on this round and this map and this play space. We said it's a good one that plays into default plays, default strats, default setups, and I guess it gives both teams a bit of a grounding and a bit of an idea into how the other opponent will push and pressure, maybe more so than in other play spaces. Either way, as I said and predicted before, they took the chance on the win, and now they have the chance of putting themselves on map point on CC, leading into the double down against the basement just after. The rotation is expected and known by Gamma, and they took CC well before. Can they find one more? Can they find themselves back on map point after being bitterly close and battling consistently throughout this and guarantee themselves just one before they even begin to think of locking off the 3?
Same will go for Gamma. If they manage to get even 1 point in, they will stay on top of their groups today, considering they were the only ones to get a win in last week around. That was against Granite. And that means that one round right now could be so much more important than they might think about, because it leaves them that 1 point buffer. Of course, if you get it now, you're still having the opportunity to go for the full 3. And it would be the perfect start under the banner of your new organization, as the Evil Eyes and the Electric Claws are being deployed together with some of these ADSs as well. The Rafters hold is, well, it has to stay now. It has to stand. It cannot fall. Because as soon as it does, you saw what happened last time around. Gotta keep it up.
Well, the angles are matching the pace that they had before. Gamma Gaming, they've been consistently changing slight bits of their play, but again, it's coming down a little bit to the wire for both teams. They seem to have these moments of unfortunately winning and losing certain fights, and Panix is just clearing a bit of a space and an idea so the artist can burn his way through better lines, better bits of metal, and, well, the better promise of being able to drop this wall. Panix is going to hold the angle and make sure they don't get caught by a C4 and might be able to pre-fire towards anyone that's close, but nobody is home, nobody's playing that game, nobody's taking that risk. Why would you, when last time it didn't go so well?
Yeah, no bueno, as none of these kills come through. I believe this time both the garage walls have actually been reinforced, and that means that there is indeed a bit of extra pressure. There you have it. Also, both will have an electric claw on it. And that will give them the opportunity to hold fast. Only way they can take that would be through the bottom floor to go in. However, that is being covered as Saka is running over right now to get away Illusionist. Oh, Yuka actually. is playing on those main stairs, and they do a little bit of a swapperoo, it seems like.
Yep, get themselves traded and positioned, and, well, to be fair, Sake has been so aggro on those rotations and those movements. Obviously, we've seen him do run-outs successfully before, and I guess maybe that's why Gamma's generally playing this internally and concerned about that loot from beneath. Vaish is pre-placing that drone so they don't get caught out by the Valkyrie and the C4s that they can play. There she is, there's the ping, and there's maybe not the full pick and reveal. Now they know they're being watched, and, well, it looks like they're actually going to lean into it, try and hope that someone drops down to meet the firefight. They're going to pop her with the charges, pop her with the stuns, and pop her with bullets. Quickly closed down and dealt with as it needed to be. Now you have your comfort. Now you have your solidity. Now for the trouble, you also have illusion.
Barra still holding fast on the rafters there. Might have to think about potentially rotating as Avage goes down, but of course Zofia will have the opportunity to use that withstand ability to get right back into the fight. Most likely will be pushing down onto the red stairs now as well to put up some extra pressure. 30 seconds are left. Kuribo hoping to get a gunfight one on top of those staircases. It's Astra to pick up one onto the plateau, but he will instantly be traded out. Right now Kuribo right behind the bomb chassis. He's playing in a very important position right here, but as Juka takes down Leonski, it's looking like it might be going towards the favor of Heretics with the amount of time that's left. The down comes through. It's a 1-on-2 situation now. Juka needs to survive, but he will fall. Panics able to pick up these last 2 kills, and it's Gamma to go to 6 first. They are the ones that could be fighting for the win here as they got the draw secured, and all they need to do for that is one more round.
I'm assuming this will happen on Church. Statistically, it makes sense. You've at least been able to take it out of the hands of Gamma Gaming. Yes, there it is. Let's see if you can replicate what you did before, maybe without the attempted heroics from the Vigil at the beginning, but to be honest, the sacrifice there actually went to a victory. So, hey, who knows? Maybe that was the bloodshed needed that led to the success story. Either way, with Gamma now securing at least a point, I believe that will keep them on the top of the board. I can't quite do numbers, that's usually your job, but it was a pretty successful week last week for them, was it not?
For who?
Gamma.
Yeah, they managed to win 7-5 last week. It was quite a good one going up against Granite. Of course, the first game jitters were there, it looked like, as some rounds were lost to just silly mistakes. Eastwood, of course, not showing up helped them very well, as well, very bigly as well, very greatly. And right now, they are fighting in yet another close game, and that is basically the story of this group, really. Not a single one is given out for free.
So I was just having a look over at the numbers, running them to the best of my ability. No, even if they draw this, Gamma will be in second, because Windstrike are currently on the +3. So Windstrike are in a slightly better position after their successful win. And they have a little bit more ground. So Gamma only on the +2. If they draw, they'd find themselves. But obviously they might still win. They still have the ability to push this. They took this successfully. Their first attack was against Church, and it worked well in the midst of the only team being able to string more than 2 rounds together in the kind of core and heart of the middle of this all the way showdown. Every round seen, and, well, the Pulse is the attempt at a slightly different play, as is the Monty of Avesh, who is going for a bit of a wide clear towards Stock by the looks of it for now, and trying to just collapse in potentially against Blue.
That is the secret operator, the secret weapon that Gamma have. Avage is a player that really likes to bring out that Monty, and it is coming out now when it matters most, when the round is literally deciding whether or not you will win the match or will be going for a draw. It will be brought out, and it will be used into shepherding out these players into these hot positions that they are playing in. Right now, 2 of them are in blue. You see Sake hoping to get a bit of a C4 kill onto Panics, who is opening up the flooring from below. And all that Gamma has to do is just not get caught off by these early C4s that might be tossed up.
Yeah, keeping themselves alive and in charge as Panics just keeps an eye down beneath. You can see Heretics are keeping themselves mobile. 2, you assume that Pulse still has the beat and bead on everybody getting close, and they just want to make sure that the smoke is aware as they rotate with a bit of urgency onto Moto's side. That shotgun is phenomenal in that situation. The canisters, well, they sure help too. But you've also got Monty, and you are the big stop and slow against this man. Once he's been able to take this pin out of his foot, he can start trying to collapse here against the Jaeger. Astro wants this Jaeger to be forced onto the side and forced into an uncomfortable situation here. Duke just has to dig in and try and hope as Leonski applies the crossface pressure and Pipes opens up, as does a couple of heads as the buddies start to fall either side. 4 versus 3, things are generally in Heretics' favour, but with 50 seconds and the pressure starting to apply, they are caught in the mix of it as Panix finally gets the kill he was pining for before, but with the double and the crossfire there, it's now a 2 versus 1. Astro all down to the Ash. They joined this roster not too long ago. The bodies are on the far side, but they have a beat and an idea on where you're at with the diffuser cold on the opposite side and the ping coming through the wall. It is another draw on the board. And Heretics pull it back.
They pull it back indeed. They managed to get the draw out. The late round chems coming in clutch right there as they knew exactly where they were. The Monty shot in from the side by the Legion, who counted him perfectly there. And that means a draw in Group A. Who would have thought that we would have one today?
I guess, you know, when you set a bar last week with all the draws, you try to match it. And you got to give credit here to both these teams. Sure, they had some moments and some mistakes that didn't quite lead to fruition, but you are battling against one of those entities and one of those teams that are the best of their region. You have to try and match their pace. Today, this was the demonstration of what the National League system feeding into CL could deliver, and it was a neck-and-neck race all the way to the end. So, brush off the VODs, give yourself a look, and double-check things over. And that's also the job of our analysts, who will throw over and then give us a little bit more of an idea.
You really got to win those, man.